Now then, if you're trying to lose weight and get fit, you'd be forgiven for thinking there was a tax on shedding the stones, and given how expensive so many diet and fitness products are, but getting fit, losing weight and eating healthily doesn't always have to cost the earth. In fact, it doesn't have to cost much at all. That's according to the Eco Fitness book. It's a new guide to keeping naturally fit and slim without using the gym. Its author is Gina Groom, and she's with us now. Hello, Gina.
Good morning. Welcome.
Hi.
Nice to see you.
Where did you get the idea for the Eco Fitness book from? Was it your own life?
It was partly my own life, and it was partly about 10 years ago I retrained to be a sports therapist. I wanted to work quite closely with people. I've always been interested in keeping fit and healthy. During my training, we were sort of taught that to keep people fit and healthy, send them to the gym for rehab or general fitness, weight loss. And I was probably the only person on the course who didn't really like the gym. I was outside, getting on horses, mucking out stables, taking my dog for a walk. And it just came to me, I'm not the sort of person who liked sport in school, team sports, hockey. It just came to me that if I just live my life doing the activities, say, that my grandparents did, I'd be ticking over keeping naturally fit without having to take out this huge gym membership or get a personal fitness trainer. So
that'll strike a real chord this month, because so many people will have taken out gym memberships in January, and they cost an absolute fortune. And we'll be sitting here in 6 months' time talking about the people who went twice. But it's also about the food products as well, isn't it? We won't use the names, but we all know the names of those diet food products, which cost a packet. They often cost so much more than the standard product that you get in the supermarket.
Yeah. And again, to use the analogy of living like your great-grandparents and grandparents did, just cut out anything that's refined. Think like a hunter-gatherer is my motto. Think like a caveman. Our bodies are still biologically the same as hundreds, thousands of generations ago. They haven't changed. And yet we are very lethargic. We don't do enough activity, and we eat really, really refined products like white bread and white sugar. So it's as simple as, if it's natural, you can eat it. And if it's super refined, it's going to be doing nasty things to your insulin levels and making your body lay down fat. So you don't have to buy diet products. You just have to really start researching what you eat and what is natural. And to be perfectly honest, it takes quite a long time to adapt to eco-fitness. It's not an overnight solution. You can't just go and buy something in the shop. It takes some thought.
And it's a whole way of life as well, isn't it?
Yeah, that's why I think it's worth the time, because then it'll be with you for life. It's great because it doesn't require any self-discipline. You don't have that horrible feeling of, I'm on a diet, I can't have chocolate, I've got to eat tangerines all day. There's no deprivation, because if you are hungry, you're hungry, but you just make sure you eat the right thing. And you don't have to self-discipline yourself or do anything that you don't want to do, because eco-fitness teaches you how to really get in touch with what you want to do. So you find the right hobby for you, the right pastimes, the right activities.
It's interesting, though, isn't it, how you do get almost addicted to that sort of unhealthy lifestyle. And I have to put my hand up here and say, once upon a time, I'd drink coffee with 2 heaped teaspoonfuls of sugar in, and I'd have maybe about 8 cups of coffee a day, and probably 2 cans of a leading soft drink, not the diet one. And when you actually sit down and you look at that sugar intake across the course of a day, I mean, you're eating a bag of sugar every 3 days, more or less. I mean, I junked it about 5 years ago, but it's a shock to come off it if you've been doing that for decades.
Yeah, and it is a hard thing for the first few days, but once you're over that couple of days of maybe feeling a bit headachy and a bit dehydrated, suddenly you wake up in the morning and you've got your own energy rather than the energy from heaps of coffee and heaps of sugar. And I mean, you just said you felt addicted to coffee and sugar. I sort of feel addicted to my lifestyle now. I get a buzz from the endorphins that you get from just going out for a really good walk, going for a little gentle run. Our bodies are designed, it's an amazing thing really, that our bodies are designed to produce endorphins when we work hard. So it's like nature's reward. And I kind of feel addicted to that. If I don't get out once a day, I don't feel as good. It's very uplifting.
And just the idea of just movement, even if it's, if you're not particularly fit and you can't get out much, but even the thought of doing as much movement as you can, perhaps even if it's just in the house or in the garden.
Absolutely.
That's the point, isn't it? Doing as much as you can.
Yeah, and in the workplace, one thing I wanted to talk about was posture. So even while we're sitting here now...
You give me one of those looks. I think our posture's
You are
terrible,
something a bit.
actually. It's terribly, yeah.
Well, you could do this all through your show. You could do this when you go home and cook tonight. You could do this when you're driving home. If you change your posture, which I could talk through with you later, you're naturally firming up your core muscles, getting a slightly flatter tummy, which everybody wants, don't they? And you're using a really large muscle group all around your abdominal area, which then burns more calories. So something as simple as that can help in the workplace. Then say if you went out for a brief walk in your lunch hour, using that lovely posture, you're starting to do small amounts of movement, which are quite effortless, and yet you're burning more energy all day long.
It's interesting, isn't it? It's all very obvious stuff, really. It's what our families have been doing for generations, eating the right thing, taking the right exercise. And I switched on the telly last night and was watching a commercial break, and within about 3 minutes there were, I think, something like 4 adverts for a variety of fast foods or drink. I mean, the anti-campaign is considerable. Lots of people spend money on giving us the wrong messages. There are very few of the right messages for us to get, and no one's really gathering behind that campaign, are they?
Well, I don't know. I think there's a growing lifestyle movement. Maybe it's because I'm involved in this world, and I have a Twitter page and a blog and a Facebook site, and I've been really encouraged by the amount of people that I've come across, especially with Twitter. I mean, I used to say I'm never doing Twitter, but now that I've started, I'm meeting, in inverted commas, people from all over the world, New Zealand, California, Germany. And there are a lot of people interested in making lifestyle changes and challenging some of the big multinationals who are pushing, like you say, through advertising, sugar consumption, caffeine consumption, refined food consumption. It really isn't good for us. And there's a lot of money behind that corporate movement for us to challenge.
So getting started on a sort of eco-fitness plan, where's the best place to start? How would you set someone off along that road?
If they just read the book, it's available in Kindle version and on my website, theecofitnessbook.com. It's under £3. You don't have to pay for a trainer or gym membership. Chapter 1 will encourage people to think about making a lifestyle change, and some of the resistance that they might have to that and how to overcome resistance. Chapter 2 is all about posture. That's something we can start doing immediately. There's an awful lot of emphasis in the book on walking. So everybody can walk. I mean, human beings are designed to walk. It's what we do best, isn't it, really? Even if you just start with 5-10 minutes, if you're very unhealthy or overweight. Some of us may start with a 20-minute walk, half an hour walk. I'd say start with walking and reading the first couple of chapters of the book, and then there's a lot more after that you can build in when you start doing your personal brainstorming. I think each person's adventure, into eco-fitness is going to be slightly different, and that's the whole point. Everybody's idea of what they love doing is different.
And if you could stop people eating one food that would improve their weight loss and their well-being, what would that one food or drink be?
Sugar. White refined sugar.
Okay. And a lot of it's about changing habits, isn't it? From what you say, it is about, leaving the car behind and perhaps taking a walk down to the shop rather than taking the car and changing those kind of habits that we've all got into over years and years. It's not an overnight fix, is it? Like you said, it's a long-term plan.
It's not an overnight fix. I don't think anything could be an overnight fix. Weight loss takes a little bit of time, and I think most sports nutritionists would recognise that a gradual approach works, and an overnight solution, it doesn't tend to work.
Gina, we wish you every success with the book. Thank you very much for coming in this morning. If you'd like to find out more about eco-fitness and Gina's book, there's a website. It's the eco-fitnessbook.com, and we were talking to the author, Gina Groom. Jamie and Louise with you on BBC Radio Wales. The latest news, sport, travel and weather from the BBC next after Bill Withers.